That's it. You could not use this because it's not rotates. The piston comes over the cylinder block maximum 0. I'm from Finland. Volkswagen Caravelle Syncro.
I am Sami and I want to be overlander. Rebuild my ego.
Hello and welcome to Wanna Be Overlander YouTube channel. This episode we finally had time to start to rebuild our engine, and it had sat here already about 3 weeks. Don't have time to touch it, and now I'm starting to put it back together.
Look at that, what I got. I get the brand new window scrapers and 2 sets of them. These are absolutely very rare parts. You cannot find these anywhere. I have a 2 piece of right hand side and 2 left hand side. And these are brand new window scrapers. I put the mirrors on, but I need to take them off and change the scrapers. This is looking very terrible, these old ones. And I'm going to spray those screw heads with the black color.
Yeah, now windshield are installed and the side window, and this side window have opening window, and here we need to make some cuttings because there is water cutters, so it allows the water come out from the window. So, and I'm going to install these new window scrapers, and this tiny area you should clean with degreaser because there is a 2-sided adhesive. I'm taping off this hole because I don't need the water goes inside, and I put here some kind of protective film because that mirror don't have anything protection in the edge. There is no rubber seal under this, so I don't need it scraping the color off. I'm a little bit checking first. Yeah, let's take off this tape here and hope this is going to glue together, but I think it's going to be just perfect. Now this seal is a little bit too up, so but it should be like this. This rubber is old, so they're shrinking, but I don't mind that small gap. So let's put this scraper all the way down here. Yeah, I'm very happy with this result. Then I go install another side, and while my screw heads black color dries, then I can put the mirrors back here. So this is perfect. Yeah. Now there is new mirrors. And the screws looking now quite nice. The car is actually now waiting for the engine. So let's start to rebuilding this. It should be clean, actually very clean. It should be clean now, and perhaps I need to start to rebuilding with this oil spray jet nozzles. These names are cooling nozzles, cylinder bore cooling nozzles, but they spray oil, not the water, of course, obviously. But the thing is, in this engine there is not oil channel in the piston rod. Oil sprays to the piston only with these nozzles. So important nozzles, and they comes with the small bolts, M6 Allen key bolts. The problem is, if I install this, when I install the piston, I could damage this. But if the pistons are in the place, there's not much place to put this on. So I should install this first, then the crankshaft, and then the pistons. So I just need to be very careful when I install the pistons to not damage this. So I could start installation with this, and I'm going to use a small tiny amount of treat locking here. So this spray edge should install with a tiny amount of treat locking, because there was treat locking when I was open it, put it in the groove. So there is a tiny sealing. Yeah, it flops onto place, and then the bolt. Newton meters. Yeah, so they are actually not any quite tight. And this kind, so the ball is moving freely. I'm clean this with the ultrasound washer. Then we lubricate complete these bearings. And now we lift the crankshaft here and hope everything goes fine. I check, this should be clean. Yeah, it's on there. And it rotates freely. Then we should install that end bearing. So these bearings, and they should slide there. And this side, where is the oil slots, is the outside. These are still standards. Yeah, they goes in nice and smooth. Now, yeah, slide the end cap the another way, and now the bearing is on. Yeah, then we should put those bearing ends and the bolts. I have new main bearing bolts, and they sell those bolts in a 10 piece of sets, so there is a couple of separates, but I managed to find the same brand. And you should use this. There is a number markings, first, second, third, and before I have there fifth, sixth, so this should install exactly the same way, and the first one is start from here. First I'm going to install the fourth bearing, because there is this end floating bearings and it's a bit tricky. Nice, and this time I'm going to put this side here because it's tricky, they drop all the time, so I'm checking if it's possible to fit this way. This is wrong way, like this. Put those heads together, and then we put lubricate to the bearing. Bearing we could install like that, and then we just drop this here, and it's not goes quite easy because these ends are so tight. And we should check those bearing end slots goes to the position, so I might need to help them a bit. And these ends are so tight, I need to use a bit this plastic hammer. Oh, I'm going wrong way. It's necessary to look you have a right side. This slot should go to another end of the bearing, so I'm trying to fit this a wrong way. So now anything is in correct position, and it should go to the place, because you check you have a first, second, third, fourth bearing, and it's right this way where the bearing slots goes together. So now it should slide to the position. Oh, I lose the color of my hammer. Yeah. Now it goes to the position. I should a little bit check. It should be on the position. Let's check. It turns freely. Yes, it turns. So now it should be on the place, and I see the those end floating bearings moving freely inside there. And now we could put these bolts on here. I'm not tightening them much yet, just a freely hand tight. I'm going to just a bit and then leave them hand tight like this. So now I can see it still turns freely. Yes, it should be very fine now. And now we can check also how much is the end. Let's put the crankshaft to another end and then take a 5mm feeler. This should go between the bearing. Yes, and it goes. And it still turns. It should be 0.7 or something. Perhaps 10 could go in, but that's quite normal. Actually 10 is a bit tight, so it could be exactly the factory measure. The new bearing, yeah, this is a little bit snug, but the fifth 5 goes freely in, so it is perfect. Then we put another remaining main bearings. Yeah, exactly, it's not possible to install those cooling nozzles if the crankshaft is on the place. And let's check everything is clean. This is third, and now the number is this side. Yeah, now I see the meaning. Put it this way in, because then you have place for knocking this in better. Yeah, it's in there. A couple of new bolts. Bolts are already oiled from the factory. A bit tightening. Then I need them hand tight. It turns freely, yes. Bearings, there is a tiny slot where the oil channel ends, so the oil could slide under the bearing. The number 5, so it should comes here. We could also turn this on this position so I can hit the block on the place. And the number is for my side. It's on there. New bolts. Yeah, now bolt goes on. What's the matter here? Yeah, now it goes on. Is there something wrong with this bolt? I try with another bolt. Yeah, what the heck? Just a hand tight and check. Yes, everything is fine. and check the markings and put it on the place. Turns freely. How's that possible? The new bolt is bent. And the number 1 for my end. So let's tightening those bolts and start from the fourth and then to outside. So I'm going to tightening them like this. And 65 Newton meter, the book says. I'm going to mark, which I'm already done. And remember, check it turns freely. Yes, nice. Yeah, that's it. And now we are able to proceed to the pistons and piston rods. The crankshaft and main bearings are on. And my pistons are 79.96, so this is a second oversize pistons, and a cylinder bore is now
80.01 millimeter. So this is the second oversize, and I'm check here the end cap clearance of the compression ring. So it should be 20 to 40. I get the 25 feeler gauge to the end cap, and this is quite tight. I put the 5 extra, and I think I could not fit it in the hole anymore, so it's a 25, so it's a quite small. It's in actually the new engine measures, and I checked all bores already, so they are just the correct size. So I think I should start to install the pistons. I could check the another piston ring also. I put it another hole just for check. Yeah, 25 could go in, and there's no more space. So there is over the minimum is 20, and now I got the 25 feeler gauge. So these are quite fine. I put these rings back to the piston and start to installing them in the block. I have standard size bearings, so this should have 47.8, and with this measuring tool they kind of look like might be the correct measures. This is not the correct tool for this one, but just a tiny checking, anything is like they should be. Let's make some checking. I have a electronic scale here. 679, 676.4, 678. So they are inside a couple of grams. There's not much, but there are markings, so I could put them in the same order. How much is different weight for the pistons? 479.5. 479.5. 477.9. So there is also possible couple of grams different, but not much. I need to open this piston rod arms in the vise, because they make the new bore here. They used old bolts just for the making anything straight. So this new pistons has rings already installed, and in my engine there was this slot towards the timing end. So this piston should go this way on the place. Let's take the new shaft piston rod, oiling it. Piston ends. Then again this slot towards front end, and this should go in quite easy, but without freezing it. Yeah, it goes. It's almost like by hand, but it's not easy to install here if this is tight like this. Yeah, this one is It slides there. It's a bit tight. Yeah, it's okay. But how I managed to install this? Yeah, now it's on. Let's check it's the right way. I think now it's in center. The first piston was not so tight, perhaps because they already fitting it once. That shaft turns by hand, but this shaft doesn't turn by hand. We lubricate this and install it into place. Don't forget to put these rings on. I'm scared to break the oil ring. Snaps right on. And make sure it's 100% in the slot. Yeah, they are nice and firm there. I think anything is fine here. It's not dirty. And then we turn, rotating these springs 120 degrees opposite position. So it's a third of the round. Piston rings rotates quite easily, so make sure they are fine. Then we put the bearing. Keep the cylinder bore lubricated and double check you have rings installed and the slot is towards timing belt, and the piston is same size as the previous, and be careful with that spraying nozzle there. It should slide in quite easy now. Let's take the hammer hand. You need to check from the oil pan, the piston goes to its slot. That's it. Then we flip the engine and check from the crankcase. Yeah, the piston is going to its seats. And I could push the piston in and rotate it same time. So now we have it here. It's not dropped anywhere, so I could try to tightening it from here. And this ends go this way and the slots are towards this way. And this is the second cylinder. Then we're tightening it to 30 Newton meters with the new bolts. Make sure the bolt is lubricated. There is tight this point where it goes through the bearing. You might not be able to tightening it by hand.
Before we tightening it more, we check it turns freely. And what about the cylinder side? Anything looks fine. It wipes out the oil quite. So put a little bit more oil here. Yeah, it's quite nice. Then we put our torque wrench to the 30 Newton meter and tighten them. They are really not tight, because then we take the angle tight. So let's see, is it working like this? But if the meter not work, I just turn it here, then it's a 90-degree angle. This meter really not very good, but and then the second bolt. Yeah, now it should be fine. And let's check it turns freely. Yeah, it should be fine. Then I mark the bolts. I could remember I'm already tightening these. Yeah, the last piston is on. Yeah. I need to turn this bearing in. Like this. Everything is in correct way, orientation. Everything is fine. We put the last bearing cap. And the slots together, no dirt inside. The treats are fine and clean, but these bolts are tight. Bolt types are, they centerize the bearing cap, so they need to be tight from the outer, so the caps go to lining together. With the greasy fingers gonna tight. Yeah. And then we rotate the engine one more time. It starts to be quite tight now, but it should turn freely, but it should turn by hand, but yeah, it turns, but it's a bit, it rotates, but everything is new, so it's there's not the tight spots, and there is this lack. So it's fine. I should tell you, this doesn't work as it should. When I tightening it, this not rotates as it should. I bought this scale, angle scale from motonet and it's not working. You could not use this because it's not rotates. So I show you, it turns from the wrong place. But I could tightening it by turning this tool 90 degrees in here, but the scale not rotates. I will show you. As you see, there's no any rotation. So let's try again. This is the last bolt. Now it's work. This was the second time when it's work. Just the 2 bolt, it was working. So now all the half engine bolts are tightened and pistons are set properly. So the next thing is we can start to install the oil pump and etc. parts. And one more thing which you should check is how much piston comes over the cylinder block. I think it's a name called projection or something, projection. So the one hole gasket, head gasket, which is original, could use when the piston comes over the cylinder block maximum 0.86 millimeter. So I have a 70 feeler gauge, and this knot goes all positions under here. In here actually it could go here, but the 0.8 feeler gauge doesn't go under here in any position. So this is a maximum about 0.7. So I could use the one notch head gasket, the original. So as you see, the original cylinder block has a very rough machining surface. They just take a tiny thin layer off here, so you could still see some deeper scratch from the factory machining, but this is a perfect surface now.
Thank you for watching and see you in next episode.
Now there appears a lot of parts in this engine block because I'm filmed everything. I'm installed this end bearing, and I needed to take off this engine.